You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
7 minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for being with us here on 702. I hope you're well this morning on this last day of April. The roads are so empty. I was actually asking Amuramela now, why are the roads so empty? It looks like a lot of you have decided to work from home today, or you were smart enough than many of us. You decided to take today off and the Friday off to just accommodate tomorrow's public holiday. So you are more smarter than some of us who still had to drive to work. So if you're listening to us from home, maybe you're working from home, maybe you're still driving to work, you're going to drive so smoothly today, there's no traffic. Or maybe you are already on holiday, you're not working. Well, you lucky fish. The 702 open line starts now on 011-883-0702. Alternatively, you can send us a WhatsApp on 072-702-1702. If you prefer to send us your messages via YouTube, you're welcome to do that, because you can now watch and listen to us at the same time. It's very easy. If you want to watch what's going on in studio right now, you can just go to the 702 YouTube page and also just post your comments there. I'll make some time to read some of them. So that's the 702 open line, which starts this hour. What do you make of this tragic story about these police officers who went missing since last week? Their bodies have now been found along with those of two other people in the Hennops River in Centurion. There's still no clarity about what really happened to them. And the police are now searching for the vehicle that they were traveling in from the Free State to Limpopo on the 23rd of April. They were on their way to their work base. My understanding is that they worked in Limpopo for Operation Vala Umkoti. Remember that unit, the police unit that fights illegal mining. But there's still no clarity as to what happened to them. Police are saying that they found pieces of metal believed to be of the same vehicle along the N1. This is the vehicle they were traveling in. And they found these pieces of metal along the N1 near where the bodies were located. So was it an accident? Because police found another vehicle as they were searching the river, a car which belonged to an admin clerk from the Littleton police station who went missing on Saturday after visiting friends in the same area. I mean, is it a coincidence that his body was found along with these three officers who went missing last week, who also happened to work at a police station? Oh, it's such a tragic story. And the sad thing about this is that there are families here who are grieving, who are in pain because their loved ones are no more. But there's also pain that comes from just not knowing what happened. And I wonder if you've been in a situation like that, where maybe you've got a loved one who went missing and you have never found them, and it's been years now. At what point? How do you heal from something like that? How do you even rationalize that disappearance? Do you consider them dead? Huh? What happens when you actually find them? Maybe they went missing and they've now been found, and they're found dead and you don't know what happened to them. I can only imagine how painful something like that is to the loved ones of the victims. And maybe you've got a story to share with us of how you, till today, there's a loved one who's gone missing. You still don't know what happened to them. Have you even healed from something like that? What has helped you heal from something like that, where you just don't have clarity of what happened to someone that was so dear to you? Or maybe they found them dead. Or you just found someone dead in their room and you still don't know what happened to them. give us a call to share your experiences with us on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. Condolences to the families of these police officers, and also kudos to the police and the rescue and investigation teams who were working so tirelessly to recover the bodies. I mean, they used drone technology. There was cyber crime and crime intelligence divisions that were also involved. I think the Hawks were involved, Gauteng Traffic Air Wing, the Bidvest Protea Coin Air Wing. So there are a lot of people that were involved in this, and now at least the families can find closure, at least some parts of closure. We're going to be speaking to the police commissioner, Fani Masemola, in this hour, just to get a sense of what really happened here and what's the next step as the police are trying to piece together information to try and answer that key question. What led to these police officers' deaths? At 10 o'clock, we are going to talk about local government. We're going to be in conversation with local government minister Velenkosini Hlabisa. He's on a mission to fix dysfunctional municipalities. I mean, the rot in local government has been put into sharp focus for so long now. We've spoken so much about it. But now it's even more important because we're heading to the local government elections in a couple of months' time. And there are still challenges with local government. Whether you talk about funding, you talk about poor leadership and governance, mismanagement of public funds, or you talk about corruption, things are not looking good. And that's why even President Cyril Ramaphosa highlighted during the State of the Nation address stabilizing municipalities as a priority for him. So the minister will chat to us between 10 and 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Listener's Choice feature. And one of our listeners has asked that we discuss why the NPA has bungled high-profile state capture cases and even corruption cases and others. Because recently we were dealing with a nation that was shocked as Judge Emma Skuman delivered her judgment on that Omotoso trial after 8 years of testimonies and delays, which led to the acquittal of Timothy Omotoso and his two co-accused. Not even only, they were acquitted not because they're not guilty, but because state prosecutors bungled the case. They seemingly were incompetent because the judge says, it's not that I believe this man that you are prosecuting, it's that you failed to do your job. Even the Justice Minister, Mamuluko Kubai, told the police that told the NPA that I want answers. So what's going on in the NPA? Is it the matter of capacity? Is it a matter of just pure incompetence? So we're going to bring in a guest who will help us understand that. And then we're going to wrap up the show at 11:30 with the sharing space. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM.
As it, my brother Clement, each from this is very sad. But to me, when it's a more analyze or check or whatever anything, hi man, the accident how where? Because remember this tow truck is the one. It doesn't matter where they find accident exactly within 3 seconds, 4 seconds they're here. So how can it be accident? There's no any tow truck, anyone to attend in them. Hi man, this is something, man.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. If it is, so we are told that it was raining so hard and the river was apparently overflowing, that Hennops River. And I don't know, man. I mean, also if they were washed away by the river, why are the police finding pieces of metal of the vehicle they were traveling in on the N1? Why? And there's another car as well involved, and that car, surprisingly enough, belonged to the man who's died there as well. The body that's recovered is of someone who also worked at a police station, but a different one, the Littleton police station. Something just doesn't make sense. In any accident on a busy area like that, it's very easy for police officers or even those tow trucks to come in quickly. What happened here? Yo, Malibongwe, you're calling us from Midrand. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement and listeners.
Sure.
Exactly about this case, I'm thinking the police might have stumbled upon a serial killer hiding place. I mean, the body count is now standing at 5. Someone has been killing people and dumping them there. We might actually have accidentally stumbled upon a hiding place of a serial killer.
Yeah, maybe Malibongwe. I mean, there's all sorts of possibilities. And I mean, there's just speculation everywhere over what may have happened to them, but we really don't know. There's nothing conclusive. As I said, the police have done so much work in trying to get to the bottom of what happened, and they themselves, with the resources they have and the technology they've used, still don't know what happened. So let's wait and hear from the officers. And maybe there are people who live in that area who maybe saw something, and it can maybe share it with the police, and that can at least lead the police to some kind of truth. Kustas, you're in Midrand. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Clement. Yes, Clement, firstly, let me say condolences to the police officers who lost their lives. Clement, I'm concerned, man, with the way that SAPS could not do this thing within 72 hours. They normally activate these things. I'm suspecting, Clement, that the level of corruption within the SAPS is so high to a point that even the 72-hour activation plan isn't working anymore. You know, Ntadema Samuel, whom you're going to call, we hear a lot of these things on Twitter of detectives dying and investigations just don't go anywhere. And these are the guys that need all sort of protection because they are dealing with sensitive cases. Who in their right mind, Clement, could kidnap police officers without knowing that they are police officers, right? And for days, nobody knows a thing. When the highway of Gauteng is filled with tons of cameras, why are we not using them? And Ndadema Semula must also answer to the allegations that on Twitter that one of the police top generals there took somebody's identity, the lady from Lesotho or something. These things are not just the things that South Africans are saying willy-nilly. These are the things that are allegations that have been made against the SAPS. So I'm suggesting, Clement, is that there is no way police could disappear without police inside knowing what these people were going for, what investigations they were busy with, and all that stuff. So there must be a leak from within, or criminals from within, who are now upending the good police officers. Because remember, criminals, as we said, are going to push back against any clean-up operation that happened within the SAPS. So it's said, Clement, but he must answer to these allegations, Clement. It's under him these things are happening. We shouldn't be losing so many police under his watch. You see what I mean? So I'm a bit disappointed. I mean,
it's sad, Kustas, and I really want us to also be cautious not to, speculate too much because we really don't know what transpired. And also the police officers, were they wearing because remember they were coming from Bloemfontein, they were going to their work base. So were they wearing their uniform? Whatever happened to them, did the people, if really there are people who were involved here to harm them like that, are these people who knew that they were police officers? Because they were not driving in a vehicle, in a police, marked vehicle. Maybe they were not wearing their uniform as well. So how do we know that the person who harmed them because of that, or maybe saw that they're officers? I don't know. Or maybe it's a trap that was placed on them. Anything is possible at this point. But, I mean, let's wait and hear what the police are going to find in their investigation.
Yeah. Thanks, Clement. I think that with South Africans, the authorities at SAPS need to start to seriously, start working. Instead of just giving us small talk, let them get to work. It must be clean up that organization. It has a lot to lose, Clement. We rely on them for safety. But if they cannot even protect one of their own, can you imagine what the public is supposed to do? But let's leave it there. Thanks for checking.
Thank you for your call, Kustas. Thanks, man. Kustas is calling us from Midrand. Let's go to Johnny in Pretoria East. Johnny, hi.
Good morning, Clement. What Kustas is saying is in line with what I'm thinking because, I've just read that there are illegal foreigners or a legal foreigner was caught working for the SAPS using a fake ID. How are we going to trust our own security people if this type of thing are happening from within? So there's no chance that we can win against crime when things like this are happening from within. And they need to investigate how did this happen and who is involved in this and what are they doing about it to assure the nation. That's all I'm saying. That's all. So the SAPS, it's a suspect. SAPS itself, it's a crime scene on its own.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Johnny, thank you so much, man, for your call in Pretoria East.
Morning, Clement. I can relate. A social worker at Charlotte Matleke took my sibling to one of the homes, this home care, in the East Rand. I was in hospital because of COVID 2021. When I phoned her twice, she dropped my call. I know it was the 7th of December. I went to so many home-based cares and frail care and East Rand Hospital to date. I can't find my sister. I spoke to the doctor who was in charge. She said she knows nothing. I know what you're talking about. I don't know whether she's dead or alive because she was diabetic and they had cut her foot when I went to see her. I know what you're talking about. At least they got closure. They got their people. It really hurts. Thank you, Sissy. I saw it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I really am. And I can only imagine how difficult it is. And I absolutely get what you're saying, that at least, with these families, they found their loved ones. There's at least some closure. There's some of it. Which is why I was asking, do you have a loved one that has gone missing to this day? You haven't found them. You reported them missing to the police. Some of you probably even hired private investigators and nothing. They've still not been found, and you keep wondering, are they living comfortably out there? Have they changed their identity? Are they dead? There's just no way of finding out. Or maybe you've gone to check with prophets or sangomas, traditional healers, someone who might be able to give you a sense of what's going on. Or maybe for you, it was a loved one who was killed or who was found just dead. And you just don't know what happened to them. You don't know what led to their death. That is so painful because not only are you mourning the death, but you also, your mind is stuck on who did this to my loved one? What happened to them? How difficult was their last moment? Dylan, you are calling us from Benoni. Good morning.
Hi, Clement. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Great. I'm listening to talk about the corruption in the police and how the organization just needs to be overrun and redone. 2 weeks ago, I took a road trip to Zimbabwe, and I decided to go by bus. And I was really shocked because before the bus left, the drivers asked passengers who did not have passports to let them know. Those who had unstamped passports to let them know. They collected these passports. And along the way, from Pretoria right through to Messina, which I believe is on the N1, cops everywhere were bribed. Cops let these buses through. In Messina, officials let the people with no passports and with unstamped passports through. And when I hear this story about these police officers whose bodies were found, I can't help but ask, much like the people who called before were saying, if there's so much corruption within the police, how then is it not possible for more and more bodies to be found? Because this organization is filthy and corrupt through and through. I cannot believe that a whole bus, and there's so many buses along that route to Zimbabwe, had people without passports, and the police along the way just let these buses through.
Yeah. Dylan, in Benoni, thank you for your call. Tiani, you are in Sandton. Hi.
Hi, Clement. I just want to chip in on the conversation of not knowing where your family member is. I also have a family member, my cousin. Okay, she's my sister because she's my mom's sister's daughter. She's passed away, but a few years later, her daughter went missing. We tried looking for her. We found her first time around, and she went missing again. So from where we are, no one knows where she is. We don't know whether she's living.
How long has it been, Tiana?
Yeah, it's been a couple of years.
Sure.
A couple of years. It could over 5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure, yeah. Tiani, I'm really sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, it's something that you don't understand. And from time to time, when it lingers in your head, you wonder, where is she sleeping? Does she eat? Is she even in good health? But yeah, I just wanted to share on my experience.
Oh, Tian, thank you for sharing that with us. And once again, so sorry. I can only imagine how difficult it is, just constantly wondering. Are they alive? And if they are they eating? Do they have a home? It's 27 after 9.
Follow 702 on X.
At Radio 702.
All right, let's now bring in the National Police Commissioner, General Fanima Semola. Commissioner, thank you so much for making time for us. Good morning.
Thanks, and good morning to you, Clement, and your listeners.
Anything that's happened since the last time you updated the nation about this tragic incident involving these officers? Is there anything that's changed since last night that you're able to share with us this morning?
Thanks, Clement. At this stage, there is no any other development. The investigation team, together with the divers, are back to the river, continuing the search to look for clues and look for the car. As we haven't recovered the car yet, but we did, of course, recovered the bodies of our 3 colleagues. Actually 4, because while looking for the 3, we come across the 4th one, which happened to belong to us at another spot, but in the same river.
Yeah. And is it correct that the police also found pieces of this vehicle that they were traveling in, the 3 officers who were coming from Bloemfontein, that you found pieces of that car on the N1?
Correct, Clement. At the point of impact, which is at the bridge on the Hennops River, just opposite Macro Centurion, we did find pieces of the vehicle, even pieces with the paint that matches or not, that is similar color as of that vehicle that our members were driving. So we have no doubt that the car indeed went into the river there.
Sure. And what about the cell phones of these police officers, and even the tracker on the vehicle that they were traveling in? Is that what helped you as the police track them, or were those switched off?
The tracker and the cell phones, Clement, they did assist us. Their signals end up to that specific point. It is the signal that brought us there that we ended up searching the river, and because they came off, they were switched off in that surrounding area, and that's why we end up, as we were looking around that area, we came across this marks an impact on the bridge, and so they did assist us in getting us there.
And do we know if the cell phones were deliberately switched off, or if it could be because maybe their batteries died?
We don't think they were deliberately switched off. We think as they get into the water somehow, I'm sure they will not resist forever. If they are in the water, at some point they will switch off, because we do not know exactly. We're still investigating as to exactly. We know the last camera, when we saw the vehicle just off at the Brakfontein interchange, which was somewhere plus minus 0222 in the morning. So thereafter the signal went. It would mean we suspect the water might have played a role in switching off the gadgets in that regard.
Yeah. There's another, as you indicated, Commissioner, another police officer who was found while you were looking for the 3 officers. I mean, the questions a lot of people have now is, was this a coincidence that this is a person who also works for the SAPS, of course, in another station, who was then reported missing by his own wife a couple of days earlier? So far, you've ruled out any possibility that whatever happened to these 3 officers may have happened to this person as well at the same time. Are these separate incidents from where you're looking at it?
Yeah, it is a separate incident. It is the same river, but not the same spot. And we don't think the 2 incidents, we are investigating them, but we don't think they are related at all. And the first incident, actually, the gentleman was not reported missing by the wife. The wife was only alerted. After we found him, we alerted the wife about the discovery. She just thought the guy is with his colleagues because, she went to the colleagues and he didn't come back. Strange, she said she saw the car is a kilometer or 800 meters away from home. And it pointed to a circle next to a river, and she could see the circle, there's no car there, so she thought maybe he passed somewhere, he went with colleagues. So, at this stage, we are investigating that indeed the 2 don't look to be related at all. They don't seem to be related at all.
Sure, yeah. Commissioner, this is really tragic, and condolences to you as the SAPS, and we're really praying and hoping that at least there'll be some answers, especially for the families of these victims, on what really happened to their loved ones.
No, that's very true indeed. Clement is a sad moment indeed for the rest of us and the whole SAPS to go through this type of experience. It's indeed very, very sad. It's bad.
Yeah. General Fani Masamula, thank you for making time for us. He's the National Police Commissioner, and all the best with the investigations. It's 9:33.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
22 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's continue with your calls on the 702 open line. 011-883-0702. We're taking your WhatsApps as well on 072-702-1702.
Good morning, Clement. In connection with the people that were found in the river, I think that this is probably a work of something or someone who's committing these murderers, because you can't have people dying, different times in the same area. Something is up. Thanks.
Good morning, Clement. About the accident at Hennops River, I'm really proud about our forensic pathologists, the forensic services, the way they are combing the scene. However, how beautiful would it be if everybody in our country who gets into trouble, who dies, if the services were there? Unfortunately, the finances are upside down. None of these things can be done to solve every murder or every crime. Thanks.
Good morning, Madimeja. Tsidiso here in Pretoria. I lost my younger brother, the only sibling, at 2022. The man hanged himself. I still don't know why. Trying to figure out what the answer would be. But whereas to the families that lost these police officers, I know the pain will always cut to their heart. Ask me, I know it.
Yeah, man, I can only imagine. I'm sorry to hear about that. And I've been asking you this morning if you have a loved one who has died under mysterious circumstances. Until now, you're still unable to tell what really happened. Is that what's happened in your case? And And how did you heal from something like that? I mean, it's painful enough to have someone just disappear and you never find them. You've tried everywhere. It's painful enough to have someone die or they find their body, whether they died by suicide or you just found their body in the river, but you don't know what happened to them. But it's also so painful too, because you're now, number one, you're dealing with the death, but also you're also dealing with the fact that you don't really know what happened to them, and that's something that can really stick with you. I can only imagine how difficult that is for the families who've got people that are missing, loved ones that are still missing to this day, or who've got loved ones who've died, and they still don't know what led to them dying. How do you deal with something like that? Tsapo, you're in Midrand. Good morning. Hey, Tsapo.
Hello.
Sure, Tsapo, go ahead.
Yes, no, it's Simon, not Tsapo, sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
Hi, yes, Clement. I also want to comment on the missing persons. My wife's cousin went missing here in Mamelodi. There's a place called Nel Mafias.
Mm-hmm.
Went missing, I think it's between 3 and 4 years now, if not more. Until to this moment, he hasn't been found. There hasn't been any traces. There hasn't been any hope. Police tried. When he went missing, he was with friends at a local drinking spot. But none of those people can actually give clarity as to what happened to this guy. And some people say he was last seen coming from work that same Saturday, and they don't know what happened. But some say he was with them that evening. So but what I'm trying to say is, my wife's aunt now is she's devastated. She's broken down. She's just being strong because she does have other kids as well that she needs to be strong for. But she lost a whole full adult. I think he was on his 30s, late 30s, when he went missing. Till to this day.
Yeah.
There's no clue, there's no lead, there's nothing. People just go missing just like that, and just nothing you can do. You can't find closure, you don't know what to do.
Tsapo. And what did you guys try? I mean, obviously I'm sure you've relied on the police. Did you try other ways some families will end up going to like churches to maybe a sangoma to find out what's going on?
Yeah, I think 95% of the time she relied on the cops, and then she now turns into being a full-blown believer. She attends churches with the hope of hearing a miracle or finding a miracle from the church, and you can see it from the outside that she's not only going to church just to praise and whatnot. She's hoping for a miracle. You know what I'm saying? But to this day, I think they even tried to go to attend to some sangomas and stuff, but you know how it goes. They'll always point around here in the family that no, it's not there, it's somewhere, it's somewhere. So yeah, it's very confusing. You don't know, but every small thing, if there's a small lead, she follows it, and it's raining. After she follows it, and then there's nothing comes out of it. It just kills it.
Yeah, Tsapo. Yeah, Tsapo, thank you for sharing that, man. And I really hope that maybe there'll be a miracle or some answers. Some families, some answers for her. Some families, all they're hoping for, when they've looked and looked and looked, all they're hoping for is, let's just find the body. Sometimes that's where some families are pushed to just go, I would rather find the body and know that this person has died than live constantly with this hope or these questions. Are they alive? Are they safe? Are they warm? Are they eating? Who are they with? Are they taken care of? Spare a thought for mothers and fathers out there who have had their children who have gone missing. The Sowetan, was it the Sowetan that used to have, was it the Sowetan? There was a newspaper that used to do like missing people, where you used to write to them and they used to publish pictures of these people who've gone missing, and you can call them if you've got any information. I remember the Sowetan, I think it was doing that. Please remind me if it wasn't the Sowetan, or was it the Sowetan? Yeah. And it always used to just sadden me, where I would see pictures of little boys and girls 2 years old. 3. 1 year, 6 months. They're missing. And they've been missing for 4 years or more. And you wonder, can you imagine the pain that the parent goes through? Because your child is so vulnerable that if they are truly alive, who's protecting them? Because you are the primary protector. Oh, it's really, really difficult.
Morning. My name is James. Yeah, my cousin went missing on 2009 until today. We don't know what happened to him. We have been searching to the mortuaries, waiting everywhere to search him, but there's nothing that we see or saw. So, he just lived us in trauma. He left your wife without nothing, like message and everything. He doesn't even say nothing, but he went missing this day. We don't know what happened to my cousin until today. Yeah, we've been even going to the Sangoma, mortuaries, and then police stations. We never even get the truth what happened to my cousin. Nice topic. Bye.
At this point, Clement, since the vehicle that the police officers were traveling in is never found, I think we must wait for post-mortem and determine the cause of death. If they were killed and thrown in the river, then the post-mortem will be able to provide that evidence. But however, if they drove into the river, there must be a clear path, of an accident. If they had an accident, drove over a bridge, there must be something that will prove that an accident occurred in this area, a piece of the bridge missing, where they drove into when they crashed, there must be evidence.
Yeah, and hopefully the post-mortem results are going to lead us somewhere. And hopefully those can come as quick as possible, because maybe that can at least provide leads for the police officers and as they continue with their investigation. But something weird is happening here with these police officers. Something is just not, if it was an accident, I mean, how is it that nobody saw it and the car has just disappeared? If they were swept over by this river, how is it that some pieces of the vehicle are found on the N1? There's just a lot that's not making sense. And then the car is still missing. Something is fishy here, but let's hope the police will especially after the post-mortem results, if we find how these police officers died, and the other 2 bodies that we find along with them. And hopefully that's going to lead us somewhere. On the WhatsApp line, Anonymous says, Clement, knowing what we know about the dark side of policing in this country, this case could go either way. We might as well make peace with the fact that we might never even know what happened to these officers, including the 4th body found to have been that of an SAPS administration clerk. The sad truth is the badge has become too dirty to be worth the uniform it is put on. Condolences to all the families and friends. Another one says, Clement, the tragic events of the policemen and women, I doubt if that's an accident. It's foul play considering the unit they are working for. Sad part is that people who should keep us safe are now under attack. And that's precisely why all of us have got to be concerned about what's happened to these officers. And we've got to be concerned when even our own men and women in blue are being killed, are being attacked, and are even being disrespected. Because those are the people who are supposed to keep us safe. Those are the people who are brave enough to put their lives on the line. Daniel, you are in Vereeniging. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. How are you?
Good man. How are you? Yes, please. Be comfortable. Speak in whatever language you're comfortable in.
Clement, when it comes to policing, I stay in an area where there's this Zamazama people are missing every day, but Bangkua Balobulawa, Clement, because of the Zamazama, and this is the biggest territory of them, just between Western area and Orange Farm. The place is called Porchi. So, Clement, even the police where I'm staying, they are involved because they're the one that are transporting these people to go and steal, go to mining, and come back and Baba drop every day. We now live under fear more. So Tabaro Batwale ba touching the bridge. Maybe there was an accident. Where is the car? Maybe there's a tow truck linked to you. Isn't there anything that can be done to show or hitting? So I think this in the whole thing is just to take out the public for a bad country. But there's a big thing that is happening behind these three police guys, and the police themselves, they know what is happening, because if people were deployed to Limpopo and they just suddenly and there's another person that is found decomposed next to where these people were, there's something that is happening there, and someone knows very well what is happening. But because the police, they just want to find a reason just to make sure about the country. Then at the end of the day, and nothing is happening. They will just find an investigation and find a reason not to actually follow the entire case.
Yeah, something is fishy here. Yeah, you're right, Daniel. Yeah, Daniel again also saying it's just not making sense. Something is happening here. And also, these are people that were, I think what Daniel is referencing there also is that these are people who were working for Operation Valomkoti. Remember, that's the unit within the SAPS that's dealing with illegal mining. They go and find illegal, mining dumps, and they go and arrest the illegal miners there. And sometimes that's dangerous. That's a dangerous environment. It's a dangerous place where some illegal miners are super connected. They've got weapons. And Daniel is saying that may very well be something that's linked to the deaths of these officers. Again, we really don't know what happened. And I know all of us are speculating. We're trying to find answers, but we really just don't know. So I think we can pin our hopes, at least for now, on the post-mortem results, because maybe those will lead the police somewhere.
Clement, in 2010, just after the World Cup, my cousin, who I was very close with, my uncle's son, living next door to my home, was hijacked with a taxi. He was driving. He was a taxi driver. He was hijacked in 2010, and then even today he was never found. So, and with us black people, when these kind of things happen, when the police can't find a missing person, we always go to the witch doctors. And even after my cousins, brothers, or even uncles paid a lot of money to witch doctors, promising them that he'll be found, but he was never found, even today, since 2010.
Hi, Clement. Yeah, this is Tebogo from Mohlake. Talking about people who've gone missing and haven't been found to date. My father went missing in 2002 after he was taken in his taxi from Randfontein station. Until today, we don't know what happened to him. The taxi was never found. He was never found. I was 15 at the time. I'm 38 today. 23 years, almost 23 years later, nothing has happened. We've opened the case, and miraculously, the document went missing. So, yeah, still no closure after 23 years.
Hi, Clement. Speaking of missing persons, around 2014, 2015, I think it goes for about 10 years now, a friend of mine lost her sister. Her sister went missing. She got a job interview in Pretoria. She went to this interview and she vanished, just like that, vanished. She never came back. The phone was off. So they opened the case at Brooklyn police station, and the case went nowhere. To this date, the family still they still don't know where she is. So that's how crime is in South Africa. Thank you, Clement. It's Mike from Ivory Park.
Hi, Mr. Clement Manyathela. It's Vosman in Orlando East. You know, mine is a little bit too complex. A friend of mine, whom is a former ex-combatant from Controversy, he just mysteriously disappeared on the 9th, no, on the 8th of 2021. And then he was found 2 years after dead at government mortuary. But the irony of all that, when we were viewing his body, certain part of his body.
Oh, that got cut off there. Would have loved to hear the rest of that story, but yeah, I'm really sorry about your friend. So we've heard from the National Police Commissioner. They are now going to continue with investigations. He's telling us that the officers, investigators are back at the river. They are continuing just with combing the scene, because you really want to, at least if you find the car in the water, at least you are getting somewhere, because you could then make some, conclusive statements, at least that are going to lead you somewhere about what happened to these officers. But for as long as there's so many pieces that are missing, it makes it really difficult for the police to get to the bottom of what transpired here.
Hi, Clement. This Hennops River accident actually reminds me of my late brother who had the similar accident. Actually, his car submerged into the dam in the afternoon. It was on a Saturday. He was not found. The divers went in. They couldn't find anything. They only found him the next day in the afternoon. There was no traces of the car. The only thing that they could see was a VW sign somewhere on the road. And then the divers went in. They only found the car and his body the next day in the afternoon, which had submerged way under the river. So, this story, it's really a trigger. It's one of those. It's possible they cannot find the car. They'll probably find the car in the afternoon or something. Such things do happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is possible. I see a message from Mark Anthony, who says, Clement, maybe you should have a session on its own on missing persons with all the relevant people. Maybe bring in counselors, the police as well, etc. Yeah. We'll do that, Mark. I've put that down. I think we'll dedicate an hour just to have a chat about that. And I appreciate and I understand how some of you have been triggered by this, because you've got loved ones that still haven't been found, or loved ones who died under mysterious circumstances, and you still don't have the answers today. Really, condolences if you've lost someone like that, and you are in our thoughts if you've been triggered by this. But I promise to dedicate a session so we can give people an opportunity to share their experiences, and maybe we can do it on the Healing Hour. But we'll find some time for it. Thank you for that suggestion, Mark, on the WhatsApp line.